Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and we're in another week of remote learning. This is for percussion. And percussion, we're going to be starting in your book on page 29, number 152, School Spirit. The other video that I put up today was for brass and woodwinds. However, the mallet part is also involved in that, so if you want to learn the mallet part for this piece as well, which I would encourage, you can check out that video. What we're going to be talking about in this video is how to do the snare drum part. Okay, so again, this is number 152 on page 29, School Spirit. Okay, so the nice thing about this piece is that it is fairly repetitive. What makes it a little difficult is we do have some eighth rests that are kind of thrown in there, and it's also a little bit of a faster tempo. Okay, so I'm going to angle it down so you guys can see my practice pad. Okay, so let's just take a look at the first four measures to start. Okay, the first two measures are the exact same, and we have an accent, eighth note, followed by 2 16ths, and another 2 eighth notes. So we have 1 and a 2 and, 1 and a 2 and, 1 and a 2 and. Okay, now in measure 3, we have two flam taps. Now some of you who are right hand dominant, which is the majority of you, like to write with your right hand, would like to just go flam tap, flam tap, flam, and doing it all right hand flams. To be a little bit more efficient, I want you to alternate flams. So flam, tap, then a left hand flam, flam, tap. Then you can go back to right. Flam, tap, flam, tap, flam. Okay, you're going to be able to do them a lot faster. Oops. If you alternate, okay? Instead of just trying to do all of one. So those first four measures would be 1 and a 2 and 1 and a 2 and flam, tap, flam, rest. And during that rest is when crash cymbals come together. Okay? Let's try that one more time. 6, 7, first 4, 1 and a 2 and 1 and a 2 and flam, tap, flam, rest. Okay? Now, if the rhythm is just messing you up, take out the flams to start, and just play the rhythms as if there were no flams, then add the flams in later. So if just the transition of going from 16th notes then to 8th notes in the third measure is a little bit tricky, take out the flams at first, then once you got it, then add the flams back in. Okay? So at measure 5, okay, the 8th rest that you have on beat 2, that is the killer. If you don't put that 8th rest in there and you don't consciously make an effort to rest there, it's going to throw the whole rhythm off. Okay? So we have a flam tap, followed by an 8th rest, and then we play on the and of 2. So flam and 2 and. And I would use your left hand for all these ands. Flam and. Flam and 2 and. Flam and 2. Okay, because that's going to set you up for success. Because then if we pair that with the next measure, we just have 1 and a 2 and, which is just like what we had at the very beginning, but it doesn't have an accent. So flam and 1 and a 2 and. Okay, then we do the same thing again. The next two measures are the exact same thing. Flam and 1 and a 2 and. Okay. Now, the next two measures, again, it's just incorporating more of this 8th notes, followed by 2 16th note rhythm. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and. No flams or anything like that, just some 8th notes and 16ths. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and. Okay? Then, right after that, the next two measures, we do start to have some accents. We have 1 and a 2 and. 1 E and a 2. So we're putting an accent on 1 and 2 throughout those two measures. 1 and a 2 and. 1 E and a 2 and. Okay? And that's where actually the bass drum is hitting as well. 1 and a 2 and. 1 E and a 2 and. Okay? So if I backed it up a little bit and I went from measure 5, okay, I'd have flam and 2 and 1 and a 2 and. Flam and 2 and 1 and a 2 and. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and 1 and a 2 and a 1 E and a 2 and. Okay? When you add in those accents, guys, make sure that you're not just making everything accented once you have just one. Okay? Make sure it doesn't turn into 1 and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and. Okay? Make sure you're just accenting the notes that are accented. 1 and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and, okay? Make sure that we're not making everything like this. And as always, you guys know if that we were here in person, I would be telling half of you to not involve your arms, okay? It's all from the wrist, okay? Whether it be low or a little bit higher, even on my downstrokes, you'll see that my arm is not moving. I'm not doing this, okay? All right, if I went into the next section at 13, hey, what do you know? It's a lot of stuff that we already just covered. Okay, so at 13, it's just like how it started at 5, flam, and 1, and a 2, and the same thing again, just like it was back at 5, flam, and 1, and a 2, and. Then we have, it changes up just a little bit here, okay? It's still mostly a rhythm that we know, 1, and a 2, and a 1, and a 2, and a accent 1 and a 2, 1, and a 2, and. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky because we do have that buzz. Okay? We have a buzz, and we talked about buzz rolls before. Okay? Where we're taking that 8th note, excuse me, and we're breaking that into 2/16ths. Okay? But we're doing buzzes for the 2/16ths on that. Okay? So if I took out the buzz entirely, I would just have 1 and 2 and. Okay? 1 and 2 and. Now, if I add in the buzzes, I would get 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Okay? 2 and. Okay? And I know that makes it a little bit more difficult, especially when we go at a faster tempo, because eventually what it's supposed to be is like 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and buzz and 2 and. It goes by real quick. And the idea, guys, is that this is supposed to lead directly into doing a 5-stroke roll, which is what you normally would do there, but they just haven't technically talked about 5-stroke roll. 5-stroke rolls when you do 2 on each hand, and then an accent right after it. And this is basically an introduction to it, so that when we do it a little bit slower, when it's just buzzing, eventually, when we speed it up, your buzz is going to turn into almost like a 5-stroke roll. That's the idea behind that, okay? So, from 13 to 21 is going to sound like this, just like how it started at 5, flam, and 1, and a 2, and flam, and 1, and a 2, and 1, and a 2, and a 1, and a 2, and a 1, and a 2, and buzz 2. Okay? Make sure we're doing that buzz. The buzz is really, really important there. Okay? Now, we're going to stop at 21 just for right now, just because that's where I stopped at with the brass and woodwinds, and we are going to continue going on. Now, the nice thing is, if you guys look ahead from 21 to the end, it's a lot of stuff you already know how to play. Okay? The tempo that we were just going at right there is where we're going to start. However, eventually it is going to speed up a lot faster than that. Okay? Like at the very beginning, the brass and woodwinds are going bum, 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 bum. That's about the tempo that it'll probably be. So for percussion, that would be 1 and a 2, and 1 and a 2, and 1 tap, 1 tap, 1, rest, and 1 and a 2, and 1 and a 2, and 1 and a 2, and a 1 and a 2, and 1 and a 2, and 1 and a 2. Okay? It does speed up a lot more than that, but it all comes down to having that good technique of your downstrokes, making sure you're doing your flams at the right height, and also making sure you're doing that buzz roll at the right speed. Okay? All right. That's all I've got for you guys for right now. Again, we're going to finish it up next week, and hopefully, the idea is that when we come back at the beginning of next year, everybody will have learned their part for this, that we'll be able to just kind of throw it together in that first week or so and play and just see what happens. Okay, guys? If you have any questions, as always, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you, and I hope to see you soon. Love you, miss you.